Mr. Boo.
Hey everyone, it is I, Mr. Boo, the Entertainment Guru. Mr. Boo, Entertainment Guru. And as always, I'm here on YouTube. And this is going to be the second part in a playlist, a series here on YouTube I'm doing called Beyond Entertainment, where I go and talk about real life situations, real life news stories, and interesting things, scary things, things in daily life that aren't really entertainment, but just the truthful scariness of a world we live in. Once you take away the movies, the books, the music, the games, the anime, the cartoons, when you take the entertainment out, when you take the fiction out and it becomes nonfiction, this world is a scary place. Now, I was going to do this video on the man who is becoming pretty much the modern day Ed Gein or H.H. Holmes, the grave robber guy who had over 100 different bodies and bones in his house. We will get to that one here on Beyond Entertainment. But unfortunately, I have to follow up on my first video, which the idea came to me a long time ago with a lot of what's going on. The last time we've had instances with this federal agency, yes, I'm speaking on the Border Patrol, ICE issue. The last time there were issues with, I guess, anything political and in the world, and I kept wanting to do it, and I'm like, I'm not really on the left or right side. I'm not blue, I'm not red, I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republic. I may be a jackass, but I don't support the elephant side or the jackass side of politics. I am neutral. And I just want to live my life and stay away from all this scary stuff that's going on. But unfortunately, you turn the TV on and it's in your face. So here we go. This is episode 2 of Beyond Entertainment. This is America, and America is in distress. Ladies and gentlemen, my last video obviously came forth because I just couldn't be quiet anymore. Like I said, I wanted to do this series a while ago, back in 2024, 2025, and the Renee Good story is what just forced my hand. And now we have Alex Preddy, another man who I think there was some rights and wrongs on both sides. More wrongs than rights, but we lost a 37-year-old nurse who was apparently a good guy, who was in the videos that I've watched, and I've watched plenty. As I said, you turn on the TV, you turn on YouTube, Facebook, anything, and it's in your face. And again, I'm not going to show the video. I'm not going to show the video of Renee Good. We've been there, we've seen that. But it's out there for you, make your own opinions and make your own judgment calls. Let me just reiterate. This is a scary world we're living in. It's negative, okay? Negative degrees, or feels like negative, across America. We're in a full-blown snowstorm. Full-blown winter advisory watch. Places are closed down or have no employees because they have called off due to the weather. There are accidents all over the roads. It's a time where you should be indoors, spending that time with your family or doing things you love, but instead the world is forcing hands. And in places such as Minneapolis, where both the Renee Good incident happened and now the Alex Preddy incident happened, yeah, there's people out there freezing their butts off to protest ICE. And before I get into what I feel personally on the subject or the topic of this federal agency, I just want to reiterate that, like I said in my last video, which I will leave a link down in the description below to this playlist, and to that video, Renee Good, that was a tragedy. It was. It was a tragedy, and I believe it was an unaliving that didn't have to happen. And I said that there were wrongs on both sides. She should have complied, even though, they were calling her names and they were being outright, forceful for no reason. She should have complied. She should not have tried to drive away. And on the other side of things, she was not trying to run him over. She was in snow. She was going slow. She was turning away from the officer. And he was out of the way enough in the video to, when he unlawfully discharged his firearm, because that's how I feel, he was very untrained. He put himself in harm's way again after being drugged by a car a month prior to that incident. Very untrained, very probably scared, PTSD. Put himself in a predicament where he ended a mother of three's life for no reason at all. They had plenty of cameras on scene. They could have had her license plate. Her wife was there in the street. They could have just let her leave, dealt with it later. Whether it be, whatever charges they were thinking they were going to give her, or if it was just going to be a talk, whatever. So I go over that situation from both sides, because not only did a mother of three lose her life, those children lost a mother. And that officer, that ICE agent, he has to live with what he did for the rest of his life. And in a world so fueled by politics, this man's going to get threats. This man is going to have a hard time from here on out, because let's face it, the reason I'm doing these Beyond Entertainment videos is we live in a sick, sad world. Just like the show Daria, that is a cartoon, we live in a sick, sad world. Scarily enough, I would fear for my life if I was that agent, because the world is not getting any nicer. Guys, we are creating a living hell. And in the end, I'm not even religious, as I'm not political, but in the end, I think that earth will become hell. And if you believe in that kind of thing, I think the rapture will be God and Jesus realizing the humans didn't work, the world didn't work. Let's go grab the ones that believe, bring them to heaven. I think we're all initially basically going to have a hell on earth, and then the devil can just come and pick as he chooses, pick as he pleases, because I think we failed. We were created and we failed. But again, not religious, not political, but that's the way I see the world. We are killing the world. We are killing each other. We are taking a lot for granted here. And now we have another victim, Alex Peretti. Now these protests, we're allowed to protest. We have the freedom of speech. We have the freedom to fight the power. We have freedom of press. These are all things I think ICE are not realizing, because I've seen people using the freedom of press, standing a good distance away, asking questions, and being pepper sprayed or pepper balled with less than lethal shots. And if anyone here on YouTube has seen the videos I've seen with the less than lethals, they hurt, they leave marks. And the one that literally, another instance I'll mention on the side that actually wasn't involving an unaliving, a man was shot in the face with one. And I have that footage in a short of mine called They Don't Really Care About Us 2K26. All these links will either be up on the screen at the end or down in my descriptions below. But he pretty much, his vision's messed up, if at all, if he didn't lose it. But you can't shoot someone in the face with a less than lethal. They're less than lethal, which means they could still be lethal. Under the right circumstances, anything could be lethal. Humans are very durable at times and very fragile at others. It amazes me that how wide the spectrum is when it comes to potential injuries and what can harm us and what can't. But Alex Peretti, the reason I'm doing this video now is because of Alex Peretti. From what I've seen, and at first, I'm going to tell you, at first I thought, okay, he did have a holstered weapon. He was a weapon owner, licensed weapon owner, conceal and carry owner. He was also a nurse who was apparently a really good nurse, really good guy, but he was passionate. He was out there protesting. But my first thought on all of this, because I watched police cam footage and cop cam footage, and that's how I know the Renee Good situation could have been handled better. In fact, I also have a short on that showing almost a similar instance, and the guy actually was allowed to drive away. They chased him down. He lived. He got arrested, handcuffed, booked, and still had his life. His family still had him. Again, all these videos will be linked in either the description down below or at the end of the video. But like I had said, at first I gave the benefit of the doubt to ICE. Because from the first footage I saw, it seemed like you heard 2 shots before you ever saw an agent draw a weapon. Then I started wondering what was going on. I started thinking, because the second footage shows that it looks like they disarmed him after doing some unlawful acts to get him detained and restrained. We'll get into that. But it looked like they disarmed him, but then it still seemed like those shots came from somewhere else. Then you see the ICE agent draw his weapon and comply by, he had to do it. Well, then I saw the next footage, and the whole lead up to that, like I said, they were in the wrong, and we'll get to that. But then you can clearly see that another agent is where those first shots came from. Then the other one looks like he pulls his weapon out as well. But here's where they were wrong. In detaining and restraining, I don't think a gang-style beatdown is necessary. When you have 5 or 6 officers, for better terms of words, for better lack of words, when you have 4 or 5 people jumping you and restraining you and pulling you to the ground, there does not need to be any use of knees, elbows, fists, or kicking. They were literally beating him down like some sort of gang initiation after he was already down on the ground. Then you do see that it looks like, I'm going to say it looks like, I'm not playing sides here, but it looks like he's disarmed. Then he gets what happens done to him. And now, looking at it from that perspective, yes, ICE was in the wrong the total way, because how did this even start? How did it even start? They were pushing and pepper spraying. They pepper spray a couple women, shove one to the ground. Alex comes in to pick her up and help her, one of these ladies, as the other one stumbles off. And he's merely trying, because he's, like I said, he's a nurse. They just pepper sprayed these people right in the face, threw them to the ground. He's probably coming in, as it looks, just to step in between. Now, I get it. This is an obstruction of justice. This would be like if somebody was being arrested for a parking ticket, or, they find out the car is stolen during the parking ticket. And you come along and you see it's your son being arrested, and you try to get between the cop and your son. It's an obstruction. You are now obstructing that officer from doing his job. He should not have done that, but out of the kindness of his heart, he did what he thought was right. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I would have acted any different in that situation. Do you feel like a big man pushing a woman down after you've blasted her with a can that looks like it's a can of bear mace? These cans are like that, okay? It's not like the little police officer mace that we see every day. But it's not like the little, self-defense things the police have. Now, I believe ICE also probably, if they don't have a taser on them, they should. And they could have just tased this man if he did perhaps have another weapon we didn't know about, or whatever the narrative is on either side of this. So they were wrong in beating him down. They were wrong in macing those women and then shoving them to the ground. Their abuse of authority and their abuse of power here is where they are wrong. And discharging a weapon without... there's 6 of you, he's on the ground. If you have tasers, if you have the same pepper spray you just used on the women, that's when you could have used it. Instead of firing a weapon that is very deadly into this man and costing a 37-year-old nurse's life. Now, here's where Alex Preddy went wrong. For one, I get it, you're passionate and you're out there. Hey, I'm all for it. I think that they're not all bad, but I think there are ICE members like these 5 and like the one with Renee Good that are either untrained, unprofessional, or just using an abuse of power and authority because they think the president will back them 100%, no matter how violent and how, murderous they get. I think that, they're not all bad, because it's like calling one group of people completely lazy because one person that of that race or of that body type is lazy. Okay, it's like calling one group of authority figures such as ICE or the FBI or police or whatever completely corrupt when there's only a handful of them that are. Or the ones that have done racial crimes in the past, now you're going to hate all police because of one bad racial member of that group. I don't think they're all bad. I really don't. One bad seed can bring down a whole group, because in this footage of Minneapolis, I have actually seen several ICE who are being very aggressive, and in the background, you have members of them standing there doing their job rightfully, not shooting at people with anything, not pepper spray, not less than lethal, nothing. Hell, some of them, I even saw one where somebody came across in the chaos and a member patted him on the back, an ICE agent patted him on the back and put him, said, "Hey, go this way." Dude went that. He didn't push him, he didn't shove him, he didn't hit him, he didn't pepper spray him, nothing. So they're not all bad. But I do believe something needs to be done, and I do believe that Trump needs to stand up and do something about the ones that are obviously being too aggressive, too brutal, and overstepping their bounds and stepping over lines that should not be crossed by law enforcement of any kind. Now, with that said, like I said, he was out there protesting, and he got a batch of bad ones. Now, you have the right to protest, and you're passionate about everything. You want to stand up for Renee Good. You want ICE out of your town. You want them to maybe tone down the way they're doing things and be more held accountable for things. For one, I wouldn't have been out there at all. For two, yes, you have a right to bear arms. You have that right, even though I feel like every day our rights are being stripped from us little by little. You have the right to bear arms, and he had a conceal and carry, whatever he had the license for it. But should he have taken it out on the street during protests where that there are some federal agents taking stuff just a little too far? No. I don't think that's why he even had it out there. I don't think he had it out there because he had it out for them. He was out there trying to help people from their brutality or from their necessary use of force, because in some instances I have seen some people standing up and rioting, going across the police tape, pushing and shoving ICE, getting within that boundary where it's like, okay, I'm going to have to do this now, and it's your fault. I'm not taking sides on anything, because another reason he could have been armed was because of those people. Again, there's a few bad seeds on both sides. You got 5 or 6 people beating down a man and unaliving him in the street. You have a man who, for some reason or another, took the life of a mother of 3 because he either felt scared for his life or just, whatever the situation was. The situations aren't right on either side. And you got to think, he probably took that out there because he feared other protesters. We're living in a very violent world. You don't know if your neighbor has bodies buried in the backyard. You don't know if the kid down the block is going to go to the same school your child is at and start unloading rounds into everyone just because a certain group of bullies made his life a living hell. You don't know if the person 2 blocks over is going to snatch up your baby girl and change her world forever in the worst, abusive, and possible ways. You just don't know. You don't know anymore if you're going to accidentally cut someone off in traffic and they're going to pop shots at you. Road rage is also a thing getting out of control. And you don't know if people's passion is going to cause them to do something stupid while standing up for the rights of other people, or if people are just using it as an excuse to go out and be violent. I don't think they should be blocking streets. That should be illegal. I don't agree with that. Now, I agree that Alex Peretti deserved not to be unalived. I think that he deserved to be out there helping people and protesting. It's his rights. I do believe he had a right to own his 9mm or whatever it was. But And yeah, he had a right to take it with him, but I don't think he should have. Because, like I said, there's volatile people on both sides. And I'm not saying that he didn't have volatile plans or ideas. Who knows what his ideations were for being there in all of it. I'm just saying this world has to change. And that's why I'm here talking now. This world has to change, guys. We're losing lives. We're battling each other. We're headed towards some sort of revolution or some sort of civil war. And we don't need to go that route. So keep your protests peaceful. Listen to the officers even if you do not agree with what a few of them amongst 100 have done in the past or present. Let's try really hard not to, block streets. There are people who don't want to be a part of this. There are people that might silently protest at home on their social medias that need to get through where you're at to get to their jobs or to go pick up their children. Do not block the streets. Just stay peaceful. And if you are a member of the Border Patrol or ICE or something and you're seeing this, just remember you are supposed to uphold the law and you have rights yourself, but so do we. Think, plan ahead, be vigilant, be fair. Take and actually be trained and use your training if at all you were trained, because I feel like there's a big lack of training and responsibility with these ICE agents. I really do. But, mind the law, because you are the law and you're not above the law. No one's above the law. And let's prevent more people from being unalived. Let's prevent more casualties. Let's just stop all of this violence. Because it's not just ICE. It's not just the protests. Like I said, it's your neighbor, it's your family member, it's the stranger following you around the store ready to traffic you. It's the person that you cut off a while back without even knowing you cut them off, and you pull in and they come up and they just start. Humanity is losing its humanity. America is in peril. America is in trouble. The world is in trouble. But we can't judge the world. We can't change the world. We can't change America. But we can try. We can do our little parts. So if you're out there voicing your opinion, hey, good for you. It's the American right. Just be peaceful about it. Don't block streets and listen to the authorities. And if you are the authorities, just take accountability when you do make mistakes and try hard not to make those mistakes in the first place. Uphold the law like you're supposed to. Serve and protect. Don't beat down and unalive people in the streets. With all of that said, this has been another Beyond Entertainment segment, and I would just like everyone out there to just take a moment and reflect on everything, because you never know. You never know who's going to do what, or with what, or how, or why. We got to start bringing humanity back to the human race. And we got to start changing America for the better. And there's people on both sides of everything that are good, that are great, that are saints. But there's people on both sides of everything that are ugly, that are bad, that are devils, that are evil. We got to do what we got to do to try to change it any way, shape, and form that we can. Guys, we're headed into a darkness that I don't think we're actually going to be able to get out of. And if we do head down the road into the darkness, I hope we come out the other side and it's bright and sunny and shiny. I've been Mr. Boo Entertainment Guru. And as always, until next time, stay safe, be vigilant, be peaceful, be mindful of your neighbors, as well as weary. I've been Mr. Boo Entertainment Guru, and I am out.